So The Crow, yeah, this movie is a reimagining that has been stuck in development hell for almost a decade. Actually, a little bit more than that now, huh? Oh, God. Yeah, you're gonna need some sort of cold drink to get through this one. This is a reimagining of this awesome movie, which came out 30 years ago. Rest in peace to Brandon Lee, a talent taken from us way too damn soon. Might as well give you my quick thoughts on this one. It's damn awesome. So fucking badass. And this version of The Crow stars Bill Skarsgard as Eric Draven. It's directed by the guy who brought you Snow White and the Huntsman, as well as the remake of Ghost in the Shell. And soulmates Eric Draven and Shelley Webster are brutally murdered when the demons of her dark past catch up with them. Draven is given the chance to save his true love by sacrificing himself, and he returns from the dead to seek bloody revenge against the killers as the black-blooded Crow. This is pretty fantastical, actually, traversing the worlds of the living and the dead to put the wrong things right. In a sense, he's a vigilante. In a sense, he's Sting. Actually, Sting was influenced by the 1994 Crow. The most famous version of Sting, in my opinion. And look, I went into this thing with at least the slightest amount of optimism. And I can tell you that Bill Skarsgård is one of the most talented humans walking the earth today. Like, when he is in the zone, that man is in the zone. And he does look really cool with the makeup on, I can't lie. Once he gets the black all around his eyes and dripping down his face, he does look very, very badass. And there is one really cool action sequence that takes place in an opera house. This thing, like, the kills in it, I was really, really digging it. Too bad that that comes about a little over an hour and 15 minutes into this thing. As a matter of fact, for an action movie, it takes about 45 minutes to get some legitimate action. Because golly willikers, to get there is a sludge. Yeah, so this is, this movie, like, in a world where we're kind of oversaturated with legacy sequels and what have you, movies that pay tribute to the classics that we all grew up loving, like, why couldn't this be a legacy sequel of some sort? Like, if you want to pay homage and pay your respects to Brandon Lee the right way, this would be a legacy sequel. But this isn't exactly like the original Crow, which I sort of respect in a sense. Like, how can you make a movie called The Crow boring? Because that's what this movie was. Oh, God. So like I said, it takes about 45 minutes for the action to really kick into a high gear. And even then, the action sequences aren't really all that spectacular. Like, you've seen these fights done before and better in other movies. You know, like the original Crow. And the story has also been done before. Like, even if you had never seen the original Crow, you've seen so many comic book movies that are centered around a vigilante who is seeking revenge for something. And another thing, that original Crow movie looks so beautiful, even just looking back at it. For 1994, this thing looks so sleek. This version of The Crow, on the other hand, does not. The lighting just looks so poor around everything. It's either too bright or it's too dark. You can't really see what's going on. The soundtrack choices in the background are just really, really obnoxious choices. And yes, even though this movie is a hard R and it's very bloody, very graphic novel-esque, the action sequences, aside from the one in the opera house, very unremarkable. And I think it boils down to pretty bad direction from Rupert Sanders, who I actually do respect in a sense. I thought Snow White and the Huntsman, when it came out, what was it, like a decade ago? I thought that was a fine enough looking movie. The Ghost in the Shell remake, thought it was passable enough. But just the look of this movie and the graphic novel feeling that they're going for, like, Rupert Sanders, I feel like, was not the right person to take this project on. Like, could you imagine a Robert Rodriguez directing a Crow movie? Or better yet, could you imagine an Alex Proyas directing The Crow? You can't imagine it, because it's real. And you should watch this one over that one. This movie at least has a good style. There's nothing stylistically appealing about this version of The Crow. Everything just looks like utter shit. And it's like, you're just begging Bill Skarsgård to save this movie with his fantastic performance, and he doesn't. Even though he looks cool in the makeup and he's very ripped and very jacked out the gills, it's such a boring performance. Like, this is the same guy who did Pennywise? No way. I refuse to buy that for a second. There's no way that Pennywise could have been this boring. In a sense, yes, okay, I get the casting of Bill Skarsgård here. I really do. If you're gonna make a legacy somewhat movie to The Crow, or try to make a legacy sequel in a sense, or a reimagining, Bill Skarsgard would probably be my go-to as well. But it honestly just feels like Bill Skarsgard took a paycheck and is just going through the motions. Which again, when this man is in the zone, he delivers. And it just didn't really feel like he was in the zone with this. It just felt like the latest installment of let me put on some crazy makeup and then let me do some badass shit. Even though, again, you don't get action until about halfway through, and the action isn't even really all that great. My God, like seriously, you've seen half of these fights done before. You've seen a lot of these kills that he makes done better in other films. Yeah, this movie was frustrating on a multitude of different levels. Like, there's a little glimmer of hope in that one action set piece in the Opera House and how Bill Skarsgård actually looks in the Crow getup. Everything else regarding this reimagining of the Crow just feels like a failure. If this was the movie that was supposed to honor the legacy of Brandon Lee, yeah, this wasn't it. I really hope this wasn't it. I'm gonna give The Crow 2024 a D-. The only reason why it's not an F is because of that one action sequence that I did enjoy. But yeah, definitely one of the weakest movies of the year, guys. You go ahead and you keep your pieces of plastic known as credit cards in your wallet. You don't give your money to this film. Let me know if you guys braved the big rainstorms that you see throughout the movie to go and see this thing. I love discussing whole new things in movies and entertainment, guys. Hit that subscribe button if you're new or if you found some catharsis in this video. And tap on that thumbs up as well for the same reason. Thank you again so much for your support and for tuning in. Y'all are the best. And with all that being said, Back Talk, commence.